This is Gene Bailey. If you're unfamiliar, he's a televangelist, and he's on this TV show called Flashpoint. It's on Kenneth Copeland's TV network, Victory Channel. It is Trump Central. It's all about loving Trump, how great Trump is, and how important Trump is to them, and Trump. It's kind of funny, actually, how insane these people are for Trump. Anyway, they have this whole thing where they're talking about how children are being groomed online. So I want to talk about it. We're going to go through some TikToks and see if they really are. And while we do, we're going to play some Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Not going to see any spoilers. I will not spoil anything. I'm going to skip scenes and stuff like that if you're unfamiliar. If you haven't played it, don't worry about it. Just be in the background.
Senator Rand Paul, Riley Gaines, Pastor Aman Chukwu, along with drag performance and corporate executives exposing the plan to sexualize your children. This is an amazing film. I want you to watch the trailer. It's just a portion. Watch.
Holy Christ, dude. That is so extreme, what they said. Oh, my God. Corporate America is apparently trying to sexualize your children? What? Guys, I'm sure I don't need to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. No one is trying to sexualize your kids, okay? People just living their lives, doing their thing, and the far right is absolutely losing it.
Are they intentionally sexualizing our children and stealing their innocence?
No, they're not.
I think that's right.
TikTok specifically is designed to target young people. That's
My God, it's Chaya Raychick.
who their audience is.
Have children died because of social media?
Absolutely.
Have they been trafficked off of social media?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
100%.
Have they been sexually exploited off of social media?
Yes, that's a problem.
Ongoing. Yes.
What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with the claim that corporate heads are trying to sexualize our children or whatever? There are scammers out there. They're making it out as though there's some kind of a connection, like they're tied to each other or something.
Scrolling on TikTok, I see little kids with TikTok. What are they looking at?
The big tech companies at this point are essentially aiding and...
You know what people are looking at on TikTok? Let's go to TikTok. No, I'm not going to log out. I'm just going to go to incognito. Let's just go to TikTok and scroll. It's going to let us scroll for a second with no account. Let's just look. This is completely blank, no algorithm tied to it. It just see what it serves us. Wait, when you're in the drive-thru and that first cold front of wind hits you when you open the window. Where's the phone? Oh, dude, I remember that. My drive-thru looked exactly like that, too. Register on the left and the prep counter on the right where they'd put the bags. I'm not seeing where the grooming is. I'm looking. Where's the grooming?
Holy
Real things I've seen as a paramedic.
crap. Fire rescue, sir, you hurting anywhere? Man, they shot my car. Yeah, a few times, but more importantly, did they hit you? Yeah, I think I felt something hit my leg. A few? Wait, what, how many's a few? Sir, do you think we can maybe focus on you for a second? I mean, bullets can hit things like your leg and bounce around in your body, causing more Wait, bounce around? You think it bounced around inside of my door? Oh, my window's definitely broken. I'm gonna need new tints. I'm gonna need a whole new paint job. Hey, man, how many times did he hit? Your guess is as good as mine.
I'm not seeing where the grooming is. That's pretty funny. Cringy? Yes. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt, it is cringy as it gets. Groomy? No. Okay, I don't know what that song was. I hope it wasn't copyrighted, but it was absolutely awful and painful, and now I want to vomit. All right, I'm sorry. I'm going to skip things that have songs unless they look groomy. I want to find the groomy ones, okay? I want to see the groomy stuff that these people are talking about. Hair hack, don't do this. I remember that song last Friday night. That's definitely copyrighted.
Where you going? Home. Where's home?
Bring your baby back from the hospital. That's nice. That's really nice.
The reason that
like, what's groomy about that?
Doctors flick the syringe before giving you a shot is to remove air bubbles from the syringe. Otherwise, bubbles will block your blood flow.
As an addict, As an ex-addict, I will be able to tell you if this is true or not.
Random fact, and the last one happened to all of us. Some people get anxious when they hear a knock on the door or phone ringing.
That's me. Absolutely.
Because they don't have enough serotonin. You get to live in this house with free food and Wi-Fi, but you have to marry the first person who appears when you click on share and then click on more. One of the scariest vehicles is the school bus, which carries kids without seatbelts. Hand soap doesn't actually kill the germs. It weakens the structure that they are holding on to.
Yeah, and it attaches because they're both polar and non-polar, so they basically they envelop the germ, and then when you wash your hands, the water moves the germs away.
So you can wash them right off. If you want to check if your phone is fake or real, just comment happy with small letters and use square brackets in it. If a secret emoji appears, then your phone is real. Otherwise, it's fake.
I'm sorry, what does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
It takes sunlight 8 minutes and 20 seconds to travel from the sun to Earth.
This is all true.
Before the last fact, follow us to learn new facts every day. A lot of us suffer from phantom vibration syndrome, the feeling when your phone is vibrating while it actually isn't.
That's true, yep. Yeah, 100%. I'm not seeing what's groomy about any of these. These aren't groomy to me. Is anybody else seeing the groomy part? Anybody seeing how this is like TikTok taking advantage of children? Again, clean algorithm, completely unaffected by anything. When a child gets on TikTok, this is the kind of thing that they see. Okay, and then they, it changes based on what they upvote and downvote and things like that.
Where's money?
My daughter's a bitch.
No, Dad, you're supposed to say something nice.
Of course we're dad and daughter. I dropped her on her head when she was a baby.
Of course.
Okay, that's funny.
We're dad and daughter. My dad gives me all his money.
That's funny. And that's copyrighted.
For you. Sing.
Saw my chance to sing for Josh Hutcherson and took it.
Yeah. Can you blow my whistle, baby? Whistle, baby. Here we go. Hey.
Okay, that's just, I don't get it, and I think that's really stupid and cringy. But okay, some people are into it.
Hurry up and get this shit, 'cause I need Barry.
At Walmart self-checkout, dude standing there staring at him.
Fuck. Hurry up and get this shit, 'cause ain't nobody gonna steal that shit like they.
He's getting closer.
Hi. Need any help with anything?
No, ma'am, I don't need help with nothing.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
The hell?
Make sure you scan this one.
Ma'am, I'm about to scan
Scan
it.
it.
I am gonna scan it, ma'am.
Okay.
So can you chill?
No, yeah, that's fine.
Damn. Get the fuck out of this shit.
What's in your pocket?
People basically I think the joke is that people think that he's stealing stuff.
What do you mean what's in my
I
pocket?
saw you put that in your pocket. What is that?
What did I put in my pocket?
I don't know. You tell me. Let me see your receipt.
I didn't pay it for you to see my receipt, so
You
why?
didn't pay it?
No, I did not pay it.
Okay.
Like what?
Did you get your receipt yet?
Ma'am, can I press pay?
Okay. Press the button.
Okay.
Oh, no, you don't.
Yo.
Where are you going? Where's your receipt?
I threw it in the garbage.
You
Watch
threw it in the
out.
garbage?
Yes, I threw it in the garbage.
Which garbage? Let's
The
look at
garbage
it.
over
No, let's
there.
look. Show me.
Yeah, I mean, people get harassed at Walmart from time to time. I've seen it. I've been harassed at Walmart. This might actually be copyright, the sound, so I'm just going to mute it. Loveyyou. Okay, they rearranged their keys and made them light up. Neat. What's this one? Yeah, I don't know what the... Can't even make a TT. I don't know what that means. It's a massive hailstorm.
We're all about getting the roots over here.
That's a nightmare, dude. That is an absolute nightmare. So anyway, yeah. I'm not seeing what was designed to groom kids here. The point of this whole endeavor was to figure out if there was any kid grooming happening. And it doesn't appear so. You guys want to see what's in my feed? I never use TikTok. Literally never. Only ever to upload. Let's go through my feed. See what we got going on. For you. Are they like literally like in a war zone and they have like a pink and blue gun? Is that the joke? Oh, no, it's fake then. Yeah, okay, it's fake. Okay, that's painfully stupid. This door is too soft. It won't be a problem for us.
Talk to me.
You're ready. Okay. Keep. Yeah. I know it's about to go.
Wait, don't do that already.
The hole?
Yeah. Back up. Go ahead, Darby. Take it. Hold on. Back up, Harvey. Back up.
It's plastic.
Dude, I have no idea what's happening in this right now. Plastic bag is using the door over there? What?
It's like a plastic bag he's using.
The door holder you up there.
I can give you something waist high. Huh? I can give you a whole waist high.
Well, I got kids. Why the f doing this? We got kids. Think about them. Why the f this? This is my last strike. I can't.
Dude, what the hell is happening?
Go!
Give you a waist high.
Your last strike is just turned into a first one for you.
This is like, it seems like it's a real situation where a dude is trying to not go to jail. Did he not realize he's going to jail? Really? Do you not know this by now?
There. Kick there.
That door's already.
Okay, this probably would have been scrolled by a 13-year-old a long time ago. Why are you doing this? Why? They were sliced. You took a block of sliced cheese and shredded it? Sometimes these are really good, sometimes they're not. This seems bad. This seems awful. Do it properly or don't do it at all. Ew, dude, what is happening? Ew! That's disgusting! Why am I still watching? Wait, this dude literally just went to a store to buy more things instead of just going and buying like a taco, whatever. That is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. That is just gross. Anyway, the point is, TikTok is not grooming anybody, okay? Yeah, there are some weirdos on here, I suppose. But the first thing that you find when you get on TikTok is not like grooming material. This is fabricated, nonsensical, fear-mongering garbage. And for the record, I want to say this, okay? There are examples of kids being exploited sexually online, without a doubt. I do want to point out that Facebook is facing fire right now for some stuff that they've been going through recently. That basically Facebook and others have not put enough time or work into protecting kids from being sexually exploited online. And when I say sexually exploited, what I mean is catfished. People pretend that they're somebody that really likes them or whatever. They pretend to be their boyfriend or their girlfriend or whatever, and they catfish them, and they get them to send them questionable pictures, and then they blackmail the person. Say 14 years old, get explicit pictures of this kid, say they're going to send all these pictures out to everybody in this kid's contact list on Facebook if he doesn't blah. Give him $1,000 or give him whatever. And so, you know what? Sometimes the scammer does it. On occasion, the scammer does do that. But this is a problem that's existed on Facebook for a long time. And if we want this to stop happening, we need to stop giving money to them. We need to stop capitulating. We need to do our best to fight against this. And we need to hold Facebook's feet to the fire and make sure that they get it together, do everything that they can to protect children, to stop this type of scam from happening. For real, it's bad. Lots of people have offed themselves because of it. Something needs to be done desperately. And it's gone in front of Congress. It's been discussed in front of Congress. It's a huge scam where people are being exploited. Something needs to be done to stop the exploitation like that of scammers. Something needs to be done to stop scammers generally. It's not just children being sexually exploited online. It's people scamming others anyway. Just older people getting scammed and lied to and taken advantage of and mistreated and everything. Some shit needs to be done about it. That is not what these people are talking about. That's not what was being discussed here.
Audience is.
Have children died because of social media?
Absolutely.
Have they been trafficked off of social media?
100%.
Yeah, without a doubt, yes. But by default, they're not talking about that. They're talking about the underlying context is they're talking about kids being groomed into being trans or whatever. Absurd. So yeah, these people are just lying. They're just taking advantage of the misunderstanding to make it out as though there's something happening that there is not, that's not taking place. Are there nutcases online that are trying to take advantage of kids? Absolutely, yes, 100%. Is there a systemic effort by the leaders of these corporations, as they said in the beginning of this, to take advantage of children and turn them trans? No. Are you kidding?
Have they been sexually exploited off of social media?
Ongoing. Yes.
I'm scrolling on TikTok. I see little kids with TikTok. What are they looking at?
Yeah, I don't know what she's seeing on the TikTok, but I didn't see anything super questionable on there. And who are these people, by the way? Who is this guy with this absolutely disgusting looking haircut?
Big tech companies at this point are essentially aiding and abetting human traffickers and people who are working to exploit children.
They're not aiding and abetting human traffickers. They need to do more to prevent kids from being exploited, absolutely. And when I say kids from being exploited, I mean catfished and taken advantage of and kind of blackmailed, forced into a situation where they have to pay a scammer or they're going to reveal this or that or whatever other thing. Yeah, something needs to be done about that. And it is. Something is being done about that. Absolutely. They, like I said, they went in front of Congress and talked about it and everything. You have to remember that what they're talking about is kids are being turned trans on TikTok. They're not talking about the real exploitation that's actually happening. They're talking about kids being turned trans. Ridiculous. Not happening.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to hear it in a school board meeting, why should children be able to check it out of the school system?
There is
Oh my God, dude.
misinformation presented that somehow that we're doing surgery on minors or even children, and that simply is not true.
That's correct. They're not. Let me explain something real quick, just so that everybody understands this, okay? I've talked about this before. Do you know how many elective bottom surgeries have been done on anybody under the age of 18 years old? You got a trans person under 18 or we'll say under 18. Trans person under 18 years old, and they want to get an elective bottom surgery. Do you have any idea how many times that happens in the United States per year? Or how many times it's happened ever? 0. It's happened 0 times. Because it's fake. It's been banned since the beginning. It's always been illegal in the United States to get bottom surgery for anybody under the age of 18 years old. Now, they can, however, if they're under 18 years old, get nose jobs. That happens surprisingly and disturbingly often. I think it was like 32,000 or 36,000 nose jobs or something on people between the ages of 13 and 19 in 1 year. It's been a while since I looked up the statistics. It's something like that. They can also get breast reductions, breast augmentation. That needs to be available for kids. There was a girl I went to high school with who was having serious back problems because of her breasts, and you know, they had to reduce them. So that needs to be available. I'm sorry, that's just what it is. Anyway, yeah, this is just fear-mongering nonsense once again. These people are just lying. It's like they're just making things up whole cloth here.
Somehow that we're doing surgery on minors or even children, and that simply is not true.
How old?
No, it's not true.
Were you when they gave you a double mastectomy?
Double mastectomy is different. That is removing breasts. Sometimes they do that for cancer patients. Sometimes they do that because of back problems. And you know what? That's very, very reversible. And it only happens to kids between the ages of 15 and 18. It's extremely uncommon for anybody beyond the age of, or for anybody under the age of like 15. I think a 14-year-old had it done 1 year, like in 2021 or something like that. Extremely uncommon procedure. And what are these people doing? Fear-mongering. They're scaring the shit out of old white people, convincing them that people are coming for their kids or whatever. It's a joke.
It was a month after my 13th birthday.
I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I don't believe them. I am suspect of every single thing out of these people's mouths.
We're going to talk about, are they going to give, the counselor's going to give them medication there at school without their parents' permission?
Are the counselors going to give them medication? No. Nobody is allowed to get medication from a counselor. From a doctor, maybe, yes. But guess what? The word kid is probably not really representative of what a 15 or a 16-year-old is. By the time they're 15 or 16, they're moving out of kidhood and into adulthood. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean that, like, they should be in any kind of sexual relationship whatsoever with any person at all. There are statistics that show that that's outright harmful to people who are under a certain age. That should not be the case. However, they're moving into adulthood where they can make decisions for themselves and they're forming out their own personalities. Now, I understand you don't like that they have their own personalities at, say, 15 years old. They have their own ideals and beliefs and feelings. I get that. But you can go fuck yourself. That's just what it is. You know, I have a 15-year-old kid, just turned 15 not too long ago. Oh, wow. Not even just turned 15. She's been 15 for a while at this point. Anyway, she has started forming out her own identity, her own personality, independent of me. Now, she and I, of course, still agree on a lot, politics and everything. But she has some differing opinions from me. She has some differing ideals. And her personality does not exactly fit what I expected it to. That's what happens. Welcome to the world. That's how this works. People grow up and change and become their own individuals. I can't believe that I even need to say this. They experience their own lives, their own identities, their own everythings. And these people seem to be trying to take that away from them. I guess you shouldn't be allowed to experience your own thing, right? You shouldn't be able to have your own experience with the world. Your experience should be filtered through your parents. Will people who are like 15, 16 years old be allowed to do something without their parents knowing or being there or whatever? That's a problem. Why is that a problem? Aren't people allowed to like live their lives and do their thing? 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds are in sexual relationships with each other all the time. That's true. You're right. And I actually did some research into this. I did the research for my book because of the 2-witness rule with Jehovah's Witnesses and everything. And then I scrapped the section. I was like, this is too incel-y to keep. But basically, I did the research into the age of consent and at what age it's damaging or harmful or dangerous for somebody to whatever, you know. And the bottom line is it's okay for anybody under the age of 15 years old shouldn't be exposed to this stuff at all, period, ever. It's like a logarithmic scale of harmfulness that kind of starts to level off at 15. At 15 and up, they should be allowed to expose kind of themselves to it if they choose. Matter of fact, they should be allowed to introduce it to themselves if they want at younger ages, but it should not be like the idea shouldn't be introduced to them at all under a certain age. And another big problem is the age gap. If there's a difference of 1 or 2 years between the ages of 10 to 20, then don't get in the relationship. It's a bad idea. It's very easily exploitative and very quickly can lead to like a really ugly situation. Just don't do it. There's no reason to do it. I actually knew a guy who was 18 dating a 14-year-old and they didn't like do anything, he says, but what's wrong with you? Why would you do something like that? Really? What was going through your head in that moment that you thought? For those like years. Wasn't like a moment either. It was like years of time, okay? My God. The point is, 15 years old, they're safe to kind of experience their own thing. They're safe to learn on their own and form out their own identities. And some kids are safe to learn about their own identities even younger than 15. But they need to be allowed to kind of introduce themselves to it. That's the bottom line here. They shouldn't be pushed into anything, but it should be made available to them. Because guess what? Some kids know that they're gay by the age of 9 or 8 or whatever, like real young. And knowing that there are other people like them is necessary. They need to be able to kind of experience that, to realize that others are like them. Should we be accepting relationships between like 12-year-olds and 20-year-olds? Of course not. We shouldn't be accepting relationships between anybody who is a massive split like that. But anyway, I think I've made my point here. The point is that some kids are okay. And when I say kids, I mean 15. Some kids are okay to expose themselves to information about their sexuality. Doesn't need to be, they don't need to be exposed to this stuff. But if they want to pull out a book at the library or something to read about it, to read about like other people who are also gay, then that should be acceptable. That should be allowed. And trying to prevent people from accessing books at the library like that is wrong. It's just wrong. Having it available in a library is not shoving it down kids' throats. It's not trying to force it on them. Anyway, all right. Let's continue listening to these nutter butters of epic proportions pretending to be persecuted and everything else.
Ultimately, we're going to talk about, are they going to give, the counselor's going to give them medication there at school without their parents' permission?
There's no reason to believe that. He's just like supposing that. He's suggesting, whoa, could that happen? Is that a possibility? No, it's not. It's never been a possibility.
I mean, I think we're leading towards an absurd and horrific time.
Well, first of all, we weren't forewarned we would be sharing a locker room. We had no idea. I turned around, a 6'4", 22-year-old.
Dude, what the hell is this? She's saying that they shared a locker room with a dude, that women shared locker room, like co-ed locker rooms, I guess. And there's like a 6'4" guy there.
We weren't forewarned we would be.
Oh, Riley Gaines. Oh my God. Riley Gaines, if you don't know, is like a swimmer, famous swimmer, who threw a big fit about trans people being in the league or the sport or whatever. Just a joke, man.
sharing a locker room. We had no idea. I turned around, a 6'4", 22-year-old man, fully intact with an exposing male genitalia. Jesus,
Oh my God, give me a break. I don't even, like, half of the things that these people say, not even half, more than that. 90% of the things that you hear in this are completely made up. And also, Riley Gaines, I'm not seeing her now.
A 6'4", 22-year-old man, fully intact with an exposing male genitalia.
Okay, here we go. Riley Gaines, yeah. She doesn't seem like a 12-year-old to me. If there's like a 6'4" dude with junk and everything out in front of a 12-year-old, that'd be a different situation. You're in a locker room. All right, this is just ridiculous. I'm not even going to like dignify this with a response. You know what I'm going to say? Let me point this out for you. Okay, there are some issues that I can agree with on in this film. I would be willing to bet. There are some things that I can agree with some of these people on. If it were real, I don't even know if it is. 90% of the stuff they said is fake, but let's assume that it's real for a moment, okay? Back in the 1950s, integration was taking place. Black people moving into white neighborhoods. And the KKK started like firebombing people's houses and throwing bricks through their windows and shit because they didn't like it. They didn't want people to be involved. They didn't want white people and black people to live together. And they started spreading a rumor at local elementary schools. This woman explains the rumor pretty succinctly.
Some of the people are definitely against integration. And they have told my children that they have to marry.
Now that's an additional step, isn't it? That they have to marry. If integration takes place, they will be forced to marry black people.
And my child doesn't even know what a is, but from the sound, it has scared them, and they have come home just crying, Mommy, do I have to marry Negroes? And my answer in handling all the fears that children come in is that you can marry whomever you wish.
The point is that since the very beginning, the far right's strategy has always been to get hyperbolic with it, to scare people, to make them think that some crazy thing is on its way. It's happening right now. And if you don't do something to stop it, it's going to turn into this big crazy thing. If you don't do something to stop people from integrating, stop black and white people from integrating, they're going to force black people to marry white people. Nobody wants that. Nobody is in favor of that. Nobody called for that. What is that even about? What are they talking about? It's completely fabricated. But it's something that people in the middle can agree with. Wait, are they actually suggesting that? I didn't hear that. That's scary. The point is that the people in the center, the moderates, will always be and always have been targeted by the far right with hyperbolic statements that everybody can agree with. No, we don't want to force white people to marry black people, obviously. No, we don't want children to be systematically taught to be trans. If that's how they turn out, that's how they turn out. And that's their identity. That's who they are. Move on with your life. Great. People are forming their own identities at that age. I don't want somebody teaching children to be trans, obviously. I don't want somebody, I don't want a social media company moving children toward being trans. That's not happening. That's the thing. The whole point here is this whole thing, this video we're watching, it's all the same. It's the same thing as this video right here. It's the same thing. The far right has come in and, just like in the 1950s, got hyperbolic.
Of the people are definitely against integration. And they have told my children that they have to marry.
Just like back then. Just like back then, it got hyperbolic. And it's getting hyperbolic today. It's getting ridiculous and fake. This is not happening. This has never been happening. It's led to things like, honestly, what we've watched with this video here. But it's also led to this. This is from early April 2023. This is Franklin, Tennessee, I think. citizens' comments at a city council meeting or whatever. Listen to this for a second.
I don't want to see a guy twerking in front of me. I'm 60 years old. Has nothing to do with my kids. I don't want to see it.
Has that happened? Are guys like in the grocery store like twerking in front of you or whatever? Is that what's happening? For the record, this was about a pride parade that was taking place. Should a pride parade be allowed to go through Franklin, Tennessee? And the argument was, I don't want to see a guy twerking in front of me. It's got to get hyperbolic. It's got to take that extra step. They've got to go that much further. By the way, check out my book, please. I would really appreciate that. Anyway, the point is that back then in the 1950s, the KKK used to argue, like, should black people be forced to marry white people or vice versa to push integration, to, like, move integration forward? And the answer is obviously no. Black people shouldn't be forced to marry white people. Nobody needed to hear that. Everybody understood that no one should be married or no one should be forced to marry anybody else. And now the right is pushing another issue. Should kink be allowed at pride parades? And the left plays into this a little bit. The answer is no. There are 10-year-olds there. Kink is sexual information, is sexual stuff. Pride parades are public events. They should be available to anybody, and it should be possible for a 10-year-old to attend and be safe. The right is trying to push these issues on people and pretend that these are issues that are really being debated. And in doing so, in some circles, they really do become debated. Well, should black people be forced to marry white people? Maybe so, maybe that would force integration faster. No! Don't buy into the false framing. Don't even engage with it. Point out that it's fake. That's what you should be doing. This is false outrage. When asked a question like, should kids be groomed to be trans? The answer is, that's not happening. If it were, no. No, that would be bad. But it's not happening. Should black people be forced to should black people be forced to marry white people? That's not happening.
I don't care who you date. This is about opposing a very dark political movement.
Dark political movement, totally.
Find a private venue or a safe space that you say you desire.
You can go to the library, you can go to my church, I don't care. Just stay out of the public venues with what you're trying to advertise.
See, they keep pushing it an extra step. Just one more additional step.
God's word is clear that homosexuality is a sin.
It's really not that clear about it, but okay, whatever.
Do we or do we not want sex on display in a public park here in Franklin, Tennessee?
See, that's not what's happening. Pride parades are not parades where people like all get together and sleep with each other. That's not the case. That's not how this is happening. Get help, people.
Tennessee.
It's only a matter of time before it turns out into what you would see in other major cities.
Other major cities apparently are doing this. She's heard somewhere that other major cities are doing this stuff. Okay, wow. We better stop it then, huh? Just absurd, dude.
Inflection point in this city's history and in this nation's history where pronouns are being shoved down our throats.
I'm sure you don't want to see me in a bondage gear outfit. I wouldn't look very good.
I also want to say this lie of being hated.
Like, I wouldn't want to see him in a bondage gear outfit. Honestly, I wouldn't want to see anybody in a bondage gear outfit. Look, sex should always be consensual. Always, 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 always. And if you're pushing it on me, there's a problem. Bondage gear outfits are sexual by their nature, in my opinion, and should not be public. Don't bring your sex life into the public eye. Being gay is not your sex life, though. As Christopher Hitchens famously said, being gay is not a form of sex, it's a form of love. People can be gay, and it has nothing to do with sleeping or who you want to sleep with. Or people can sleep with somebody of the same gender and not be gay. Seriously. Really. Or People can be in relationships, long-term relationships with a woman, like 30-year marriage, have 3 kids, and not be straight. Your sexuality is not the same as your sexual orientation exactly. In fact, sexual orientation isn't even really the right word. That's why I am all for pride parades, because it makes it possible for kids to recognize and accept this thing about themselves, realize that there are other people like them out there who might also feel the same way. You know, one kid has a crush on little Johnny instead of Jenny, for example, and he doesn't understand those feelings or if those feelings are right. People like the ones in this video, in the Flashpoint video or whatever, these people are desperate to convince you that people are trying to push sexuality on children. It's a joke. And that sexual orientation is a choice, and the only reason little Johnny has a crush on little Jeffrey is because little Johnny was brainwashed to believe that he's gay.
We had no idea. I turned around, a 6'4", 22-year-old man, fully intact with an exposing male genitalia.
Yeah, I'm not even going to engage with this. Again, I like, this is not a problem that exists in society, what she's describing here.
This ideology is killing our kid.
Do you think more people need to speak up to protect kids like your daughter?
Yes, I do.
Well, I think from heaven she can see how hard you fought for her.
From heaven.
Do you feel like this is a war on children?
Oh my God.
I know it's a war on children, but like they said, we're coming for your kids.
Yeah.
And they have.
All right, this ground.
Yeah, just complete ridiculous nonsense. Again, there is an example of exploitation against kids where scammers will try to get questionable pictures of these children. Let me rephrase. Where scammers will try to get questionable pictures of these teenagers. They'll say, "Oh, I want to date you. I want to be your girlfriend. Oh, send me pictures." They send them their pictures and they say, "If you don't give me $1,000, I'm sending it to everybody on your contacts list. Your parents, grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, everyone." That is a real problem. That is exploitation that's taking place in the form of scams. That's not what they're talking about. They're trying to, in this movie, imply that people are intentionally setting out to groom children. It's completely fabricated.
Said, we're coming for your kids.
Anyway, so let's hear Gene Bailey here analyze this this video. By the way, I noticed with Landon and Robbie Starbuck, I was wondering how they created the company Starbuck Productions without running into any issues with Starbucks. And now I know it's their last name. There are a bunch of copyright precedents set about people's names and things like that.
All right, this groundbreaking documentary was recently released by Robbie Starbuck and his wife Landon. Robbie's not only, if you don't know who he is, he's not only an influential producer and director, he's also a committed Christian, patriot, and a father of 3 who's actively engaged in the battle to protect our children.
Totally, totally.
Robbie, welcome to Flashpoint. So glad to have you here, sir.
Thank you
Oh, that's okay. Robbie, they got Robbie on. Interesting.
for having me. I appreciate you guys shining a light on this important film.
Yeah, it is. And
no, it's completely made up. Like the whole thing, it's fabricated.
Say here, we have seen this, and I'm telling you, everybody, you need to go watch this. It's not for the faint.
Yeah, it'll scare the shit out of you. Anybody surprised by that? It's all about scaring people into believing that somebody is like out to get their kids or whatever. Like, come on.
And I'm telling you, everybody, you need to go watch this. It's not for the faint of heart. They tell it like it is, but what I especially...
No, they don't tell it like it is. They fabricate it. Look, let me show you one more example of people fear-mongering and taking it an additional step. Remember I said in the 1950s, they used to say, if integration takes place, children are going to be forced to marry like black people or whatever. They used to tell their kids that. Listen to Doug Mastriano I think the dude got 40% of the vote for Republican governor of Pennsylvania. He did lose to Shapiro, I think, but he almost won. Listen to him at one of his political rallies. This is from late October or early October 2022. So it must have been the 2022 election.
On day one, the sexualization of our kids, pole dancing, and all this other crap that's going on will be forbidden in our schools.
Pole dancing in our schools. He thinks pole dancing is taking place in our schools. They can't leave it at, kids shouldn't be allowed to access any material of any sort that they don't like or whatever. They can't leave it at something simple and basic. They have to take it an additional step. It has to go as far as pole dancing is happening in our schools. Insane.
On day one, all the pornographic books that are in elementary schools will be pulled out.
There are no pornographic books in our elementary schools. There are books that contain passages that, when taken out of context, are very easy to use as a method of freaking people out. Like this audience right here. You can freak the shit out of these people if you just read like one line from one book from, one chapter of whatever in a specific context. You can convince them that people are out to get your children. In reality, it's completely misrepresented, obviously. I'm sure I don't even need to say that. Anyway, the point is that, they have to take it an additional step. They have to go that much further every time.
Especially appreciate is how you lay it all out, how we got from there to where we are today. Because, Robbie, most Americans, in fact, most people in church, we woke up one day and we're playing catch up to what's been going on in our society.
No, that's the thing. You're not playing catch up with what's going on in society. It's fabricated. It's fake.
What was the most, why? First off, why did you make the film? I know it's an obvious answer, but what pushed you to go ahead and make this documentary?
Well, it may not be as obvious as some people think.
It's not a documentary. And also, he needs to adjust his green screen filters.
My far out background, job-wise, was I directed Oscar-winning actors, actresses, some of the biggest music stars, and then I came out as a Christian conservative around the 2015 election going.
Came out as a Christian conservative. Did you catch that? Came out as. Because it's something you have to, come out of the closet as, because people attack you for it. This dude is such an embarrassment. Also, seriously, fix that green screen. Look at this. You can tell that it's a green screen because of the coloring of his face around it right here. This is a real light. These are real lights that I have here. This purple, this is real. This is like a light that I have on. I used a green screen for a while. You just have to have the settings right. That's all.
Into 2016, and I knew what that meant, but my family came here from Cuba. My mom came here a penniless refugee that came the legal way to this country.
Oh, yeah, because refugees, penniless or not, immigrants, they're bad unless they come the legal way. And what's the legal way to come in here? Did you know that refugees, people who are coming over the border and going to a UN refugee center, they are doing it the legal way. It is 100% legal for refugees to come over the border and request asylum. And it's illegal to prevent people from doing that. That's why there's a big hole in the border, so that people can come over and make their way to the nearest refugee center.
Country, despite the risk of death and everything else. If she could do it, risking all that, I think other people can do the legal route as well.
Well, that's the thing. There isn't really a legal route, not much of one, for one thing. And for another thing, the legal route for refugees is still being criticized by these people.
Knowing what communism does to a country, I feel a duty as a father and as a member of my community to do everything possible to make sure that a new form of communism doesn't destroy this country, because communism doesn't just come for a country.
Okay, there is no communism in the United States. I can't believe I'm even saying this. It's not happening here.
And its values and its children. It comes for its faith, and faith is paramount to dividing, and that's why they attack it. They want to divide.
Communism comes for people's faith.
Us by breeding a faithless generation, and we cover that in the movie as well. We have this insanely high mental health crisis going on right now among the youth, but at the same time, what's paralleling with it? The least belief in God that we've ever seen in a generation. So it was very clear to us, my wife and I as parents, that we had to do something to tell this story.
Myself and my wife as parents, for what it's worth. I mean, I don't want to be like all grammar Nazi here or whatever. I'm just saying this guy is insufferable and absolutely terrible, first of all. And second...
So it was very clear to us...
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
...with it, the least belief in God that we've ever seen in a generation. So...
Yeah, I don't know that that's true, but I can tell you this. I do know that this is true, for sure. These people, I'm talking like this guy on screen right here and the Flashpoint crew and everybody else, they're insane. They're insufferable. It's like, how could they possibly expect somebody to like want to be a part of their life to any degree? Or how could they expect anybody to want to be part of their belief system or whatever when they're so ridiculously, painfully insufferable? Like, can't stand to be around these types of people because they're always talking about how persecuted they are and how communism is out to get them and blah, 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 blah. It's like, people, please get over yourself.
It was very clear to us, my wife and I as parents, that we had to do something.
Myself and my wife.
To tell this story so that people understood how this happened, that this was not all of a sudden. This was a plan. It's well funded. It's well connected. It's worldwide.
It's not a plan. It's not... worldwide, it's not well connected or any of that other garbage. Like, it's completely made up.
And that there is a plan to turn that next generation of children into long-term, activists and voices for this modern communist movement.
Is that so? This modern communist movement. There's a plan to turn them into this modern communist movement. Turn children into communists. That's what you're telling me. Totally, absolutely.
Well, but Robbie, our detractors would say, well, you guys are talking about conspiracies. That's not really
yeah, a little
accurate. You see on Twitter all the time, that's not really what's happening.
There you go. That's it.
They're not doing that. They're not taking kids without their parents. Is there a real agenda? I mean, is it really that they're coming for our kids?
No, it's not. It's fabricated garbage.
That's why we made this movie. I mean, I don't think anybody can watch it and walk away and not understand that this is a plan, very carefully thought out, and that they are absolutely doing this at a destructive scale. I've even had many people who don't agree with me politically who thought they would hate this movie, watch it, and they walk away and they go, I might disagree with you on other issues, but this is real. I've been told by the media. We did one thing I think is very important. Say with
my God, dude,
the issue of children having sex change surgeries.
That's not happening.
I played a bunch of clips intentionally from the mainstream media over the past 2-3 years saying there are no children getting anything like a sex change surgery of any kind.
No, it's illegal to get bottom surgery. Now, mastectomy is a different thing. That should be legal for people between the ages of, say, 15 and 18. Younger than a certain age, mastectomies aren't even possible because they don't have breasts to remove. But anyway, it should be legal to electively cut down or to get breast reduction surgery or whatever. That should be legal, without a doubt, for honestly valid reasons, 100% valid, no matter what your beliefs are. God, these people live in a fantasy land.
We played all of them, and then we hard cut to a young lady, and I asked her, when did they give you a double mastectomy? And she says, it's the month of my 13th birthday. And
okay, I don't even know if this is true. I have a tendency to, automatically disbelieve anything these people say. But, okay, fine, great. You found a single example, just assuming this is true, which I don't have any reason to, but just assuming it, that's one person. What about all of the other kids that you claim are receiving these surgeries or whatever? Get help. Jesus Christ.
She goes on further in that interview to admit that they did almost no look through her mental health, that the process to get it was super fast. She got hormone blockers when she was 12. Within I think it was less.
Okay, is it like, how many examples of this do you have exactly, precisely? Are there more examples of this, even if this were true? More than just the one example you're giving here? These people lie for a living, so forgive me if I'm skeptical.
Less than, an hour, the appointment. And so this is the insanity these kids are facing. And in many places, this is being done at a wide scale. In fact, so wide that organizations like Planned Parenthood that used to depend on the slaughter of children to make their money.
Wow, take it a step further, huh? They depend on the slaughter of children to make money. Like what? Holy Christ, dude.
Are now realizing that the mutilation of children may be more profitable because instead of...
The mutilation of children is more profitable. Are you kidding me with this? Really?
Make their money, are now realizing that the mutilation of children may be more profitable because instead of, a one and done situation, the way they've profited off of the lives of children for so long, now they realize, hey, we could have a patient for life because they're going to have to come back again and again and again. It is a mass medicalization of turning them into long-term, lifelong patients.
Mass medicalization, like what? I know he just slipped it in there, but I have to point out the fact that Planned Parenthood or abortion clinics in general were not selling baby parts. It's fake. It is a fake story that was fabricated by people like this guy, and the far right ran with it anyway. This is nuts, dude. For the record, if Planned Parenthood were, they're allowed to donate certain parts to science, to universities for study and things like that. If Planned Parenthood were profiting off of this, like selling parts to people, the only real issue I'd have with that would be the fact that there was like a profit motive and incentive here, profit incentive. Something that these people here, I mean, that's capitalism, baby, right? Isn't that capitalism? What happened to all that communist talk a minute ago? I really don't care if people are profiting off of that, aside from the idea that it's going to be like encouraged for people to, oh my God, dude, I hit the wrong buttons. It's going to be encouraged for people to do this or that or whatever. Ultimately, though, as I said, I really don't care like what Planned Parenthood gets up to or what they were up to or whatever. By the way, don't forget to check out my book. I would appreciate that very much, about Jehovah's Witnesses and my experience with them and their beliefs and their practices and a whole bunch of other really interesting stuff. So check it out, okay? OwenMorgan.com/book.